Welcome back. In this lecture, we will present a data that helps us understand how one way we can improve the power and energy efficiency of a car. This kind of data is not available um, for a car traveling in an Indian city, but this conveys a point, even though this data has been recorded somewhere in the West. On the x-axis, we have time. On the y-axis, the speed of the vehicle is shown. What you see is that there are time windows wherein the car is accelerating, but there is a rapid deceleration. The car is not moving at all. Then there is acceleration, there is gradual deceleration, and so on. So, what is the main take home message is that the car is not traveling at some average speed. Okay, supposing the average speed for this vehicle is, let's say, 30 kilometers per hour. So, it is not traveling at that constant speed most of the time. Most of the time, it is either accelerating or decelerating. This makes designing a power system for the car uh, challenging. This creates unique challenges because typically the engine operates at the maximum efficiency for a particular speed, um, and you're not operating at that particular speed most of the time. In another plot for the same vehicle, um, what is shown here is again time on the x-axis. On the y-axis, there are two quantities. Here is the power consumption, and on this side is the energy consumption. Okay, so what you typically see in a car is that, let's understand this a little bit. So in this region, you have constant power. You've integrated this power to get energy, and the slope is constant here. Again, there is a rapid um, power increase. There is a discontinuity here, and there is a line of constant slope corresponding to this phase. So power is plotted here, and this integrated line denoting the energy is provided here. The axis for energy is here. So what you see is that there are regions where the power is negative. That is, the vehicle is dumping power into the environment. Okay, so there are places or quite a few windows wherein the power is negative. So this is zero here. So in all these uh, time windows, the power is negative. That means this corresponds to rapid braking or some kind of deceleration. So what are these two lines, these two curves indicate is that if these regions wherein the power is negative, okay, so if you can recover that energy, then the overall energy required is lesser compared to the energy consumption when there is no recovery. So the main difference, for example, between this curve and this curve is seen in the time windows where the power is negative. Same thing, same deviation is seen here. So this is a plot with energy recovery. So the energy recovery is typically done, let's say, via regenerative braking. So the difference can become significant over a period of time. So let's look at some more data. So here, the main thing, there are a lot of numbers, but let's focus on few things here. So you have average speed that is given by this number, which is quite different from the maximum speed. So what is important are two rows. One is the traction energy, let's say the energy to overcome friction, but here it is around 10, and the braking energy is almost half of that. Okay, so this is the energy that is gets dumped, and it is typically not recovered uh, by the vehicle. That is, if you can recover the energy involved in braking and run a generator, that is, you are generating an electrical energy that can be utilized for charging a battery. This is done via regenerative braking techniques that can significantly improve the efficiency of your system. Okay, so if this braking energy is completely lost in the form of heat energy due to friction, you're losing that energy. However, if you can run a generator which recharges the battery, that is going to improve your efficiency significantly. And few other things are also shown here, the different columns. So the, this column has to do with city driving, where there is frequent um, stops and starts. The difference between the average speed and the maximum speed is quite significant. As opposed to that, if you have highway speed, that is in a freeway, you are driving more or less at an average speed, which is not very different from the maximum speed. So here, this ratio is not very, I mean, it's not that much. However, this divided by this is quite a that's quite a difference, but this divided by this is not that much. Again, this is also high speed driving. So what is to be observed here, the braking energy is not that much um, compared to traction energy. So you won't gain much by regenerative braking techniques here. But here too, because your speeds are so much larger, the braking energy is significant. While here it is half, here is 1/10, here is 1/3. So you may gain quite a bit in efficiency if you can capture the braking energy, let's say via regenerative braking. That is the significant point which we are trying to convey. The regenerative braking has a slightly different driving experience. However, one would get used to such kinds of issue. But if this is something that is important to implement in cars to improve the efficiency. In the next lecture, we will look at some aspects of a battery electric vehicle. Thank you.